Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everyone. You're tuned in to the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network, featured on the Roar 93.5 FM, 99.1 FM, and 94.7 HD2. Good morning. Happy Thursday, everyone. Good morning, Adam, Fish, Westy. All my besties are here.
All right, Brian Kelly. Way to fit
my
in there.
family is here. The Pistons had quite the interesting game last night. They took the Washington Wizards into overtime, but the Wizards won 119 to 116 thanks to Kuzma's three-pointer with 0.6 seconds left in the game. How painful. But Cade Cunningham was Detroit's star in overtime, scoring 8 of their 10 points. Adam, how did you feel about last night's game?
It was, I want to say, a roller coaster of, one, emotions, and then two, frustrations. It's like, yeah, that's the team I've been watching all year. That's why they're 4-20. And then there are aspects of the game where you're like, we got a star. You got a star player in Detroit, and that's Cade Cunningham. He's unbelievable. And they were very fortunate to go into overtime. They made that 15-3 run. Don't get me wrong. I was watching. I had money on the game. I was all for it. But it was so reliant on iso ball towards the end of the game with Jeremy Grant. And I was just watching, and I said, this is why you lose games. And it's not really Jeremy Grant's fault. It's just, where's the offense? Where's the ball movement? Do players really know what they're supposed to be doing on the court? Or is it, you know what, under 2 minutes, let's just give the ball to Jeremy Grant? That's why they're 4-20. And they fell short last night. And look, they played a hell of a game. Wizards are, 15-11 now. They're off to a good start to the season. Bradley Beal looks really good. You want to talk about one of the NBA's probably most unlikable players? I think it's Kyle Kuzma. And the fact that he hit that dagger three, I looked at myself in the mirror that night, and I'm like, really? You lost on the three to Kyle Kuzma? That's where we're at right now? But, I don't want to hold that against the team. Look, I think last night was another example of Dwayne Casey, like, what's the rotation looking like? What's your squad in the fourth quarter? Where was Saddiq Bey? Saddiq Bey, another off night. And, I know Rod Beard was on the bottom line yesterday, and they were talking a lot about Sadiq's development and Frank Jackson, Corey Joseph, even Saban Lee down in the Motor City Cruise. Dwayne Casey's got to figure this thing out. And look, I'm not expecting a 50-win season, 40-win season. I'm really not. But there has to be something said about how confused the viewer is watching the team. I can only imagine how confused they are on the court. And this isn't, you don't know basketball. No. I'm talking about an average fan watching that game. If you ask them, what did they do well? They couldn't tell you. What, iso ball? You're not the Nets. Look, they did a hell of a job. Cade's little 3-minute outburst in overtime literally helped me sleep at night. The fact that Detroit has a star player like Cade Cunningham, and he is a star. This isn't, give him time, he'll develop. No. He is a star right now. He's not a superstar yet. That's reserved for the very few, the elite that absolutely take their team to the next level. He's definitely not there yet. But you got a star player. That's an all-star caliber player. That is a guy that's worthy of the number 1 overall pick in the NBA. I am all for last night. It was unbelievable to watch, Kennedy. Yeah, they lost. Yeah, they're 4-20. I don't mind picking in the top 3 again this year. It's not going to be the end of the world. It doesn't look like they're going to move Jeremy Grant, which is beyond me. But, I think something has to be said for really, them missing a real 5, a ball-distributing, rebounding 5. Isaiah Stewart in moments last night was nice, but so many times he was right under the basket. and he had either dished it out or he put it back up and it wouldn't fall for him. This is a team in the fourth quarter. Who am I looking at to get me buckets outside of Jeremy Grant and Cade? And I think last night, you have more questions than you do answers. But to be fair, Detroit's got a star player. And finally, and yes, it took overtime, but thank goodness they finally scored more than 110 points. If they can put up 116 a night, they're going to be a good basketball team. And they're going to be winning more games consistently. But when you average 98 and 99 points a game, it's going to be tough to win in the NBA.
Yeah, and I was looking at it because I felt like I'd seen a lot of Wizards games with very, very close scores like this. And so the Wizards do indeed thrive in these close games. They own the NBA's best record at 12-1 in clutch games with the score within 5 at any point in a game's final 5 minutes. So, I mean, this is just what they do when it's crunch time.
Which is funny because they gave up a 15-3 run to end the game and allow it to go into overtime. But, guys, that's such a fraudulent stat, and I'll tell you why. That's not repeatable. That is not... you can't replicate that consistently. That is not a consistent stat. I love Bradley Beal. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Bradley Beal. Mm-hmm. But he is no consistent closer. Neither is Kyle Kuzma. What this tells me is that the Wizards are overachieving and that in close games they are dominating. They are walking away with victories. 12-1, you said? They're 15-11, which means they're 3-9 when the games kind of don't go their way. And then when the games are really close, they're somehow 12-1. Imagine if that record, let's say they were 500 in close games, which I could argue is somewhat average, somewhat respectable. Well, then their record would look significantly different. They would be what? They would lose 7 games. They would be 8-18. That's what the Wizards technically would be if they were just an average team and closing out games. That, for me, is if I'm a Wizards fan, I'm actually concerned. How long are we going to push our luck in actually winning these close games? When are we going to be dominant? When are we going to run away with games? So, I really think that's a stat that, looking at the Washington Wizards, they're going to be frauds. They're not going to be able to do this for the whole year. But I don't want to focus too much on them. That people can cling on to them, and I'll brush them aside. I'm not worried about the Wizards. You know what stat it reminds me of, though?
What?
And I'm really glad you brought that up. It reminds me of Jim Caldwell's final few years. I'm not saying it in a bad way. Okay. Hear me out.
Okay.
When you're winning a majority of your football games, 60, 70, 80% of them, on fourth quarter comebacks, that is not a replicable stat. That is not a duplicate. That's a stat you can't replicate consistently. You can't consistently always pull it out in the fourth quarter. And that's not how this world works, especially professional sports. Things always even and balance out. And that's why you see NFL teams that some years go 10-6 in years past, and the following year they're 6-10. Because the 4 games they won the year prior, you just can't repeat those games.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. I got immediately defensive when you brought up Caldwell.
No, look, that's a Jim Caldwell stat. 12-1. The Wizards are 12-1 in the final 5 minutes when they're up or the game is within 5 points. Correct? Mm-hmm. That is not a repeatable stat for that roster. It isn't. If KD was on the team, Steph, hey, they got a superstar. I get it. Bradley Beal's a really good player.
Speaking of which, I do know you want to talk about Steph Curry a little bit. He's on track to break a 3-point record, right? Ray
Allen's 3-point record, and he's doing it in way less than half the games. Steph Curry.
Awesome.
Guys, I used to get really defensive when people would bring up, the best point guards of all time. And they would say, well, Steph Curry's the best. And I would sit there, I'd be like, shut the hell up. Magic and Isaiah, and then talk to me about Steph. But don't forget about Magic and Isaiah. And I used to be extremely defensive about that. And you know what? Magic at that time revolutionized, what the point guard looked like, but what the position looked like. Isaiah at the time did revolutionize what the point guard position looked like. Nobody was handling the ball like him. Nobody was dribbling and driving to the paint. Nobody could do that. It's not that they couldn't. It just wasn't being done the way he was doing it. And I think Steph falls into that conversation. A guy that changed the game of basketball, progressed it into this three-point analytical dominating game. And he's now 10 threes away from breaking the record. Unbelievable. Steph Curry is right now, I think, the MVP of the NBA. He's the face of the league along with Giannis. What are the Warriors now? What, 19-4? Can you find out their record for me?
Yes.
I know they have the best record either in the NBA or for sure in the West. They are so fun to watch. And this is what everybody was scared of, by the way.
Yeah, they're 21-4.
21-4?
Yep.
This is exactly what everybody was scared of. Everybody laughed at the Warriors. The Jameis Wiseman draft. They finished in the lottery. The Warriors are done. And then everyone looked like, oh, well, they got a 5 now. And if he's healthy and actually turns out to be good, and Klay Thompson comes back from his injury, that's a problem. Oh, well, Klay got hurt at the beginning of last year, so they missed out on him again. And then Steph carried the team into the play-in. And now the team is getting more healthy. Wiggins is more comfortable. Draymond Green, got to give him credit. He's actually turned it around. He's looked really god-awful the last few years. He is a much better basketball player. He's playing so much smarter. He's playing at an elite level. And, of course, Steph is playing at an MVP level. And when you mix all that together, knowing that Klay Thompson will be there soon, and they're 21-4, I can't believe I'm saying this again. Watch out for the Warriors. This is great. We have to deal with another Warriors dynasty.
I'm not mad about it. I love watching Steph Curry.
No, I think they're the most likable dynasty I've ever watched in years, honestly, since Jordan. I can't recall a dynasty, maybe outside of Kobe's Lakers with Shaq. I think that was extremely
Shaq is
likable.
like the most likable athlete of all time.
And that's why. And so is Steph. Steph is so relatable. Steph is what, 6 foot? 6'1"? 6'2", I think, at the most. He looks like a normal guy. He's got a family, kids. He's not some, freakish athlete where you look at him like, yeah, I can't be like him. Kids look at Steph these days, and they're like, yeah, I can do that. I can shoot threes. Oh, I just got to shoot threes and dribble the ball really well. I could do that. I'm being serious. He's going to inspire a whole new generation of basketball players. He is. He really is. And he's going to open up opportunities for players. And don't get me wrong, Trae Young's a really good player. But people like Trae Young got looked at and were revered in the way they were because of Steph Curry's success. And I think you're going to see that continue for the next 10, 15, 20 years.
I giggle every time I think of Trae Young now because of those stupid side talk videos on TikTok. Those NYC street talk videos. If you know, you know, people. And if you don't know, go look it up. It's freaking hilarious. But anyway, speaking of opening new doors, you can start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu.
It's that time of the year again. Time for our second annual Stuff a Studio with Woodward Sports. Last year, Metro Detroit came together to help make the largest single toy donation in Mott Children's Hospital history. This year, we make it even bigger. Stuff a Studio is happening December 13th through the 17th at the Woodward Sports Studios in Birmingham. The children in Mott Children's Hospital fight so hard all year. Now it's up to all of us to help bring a smile to their faces. So while you're out holiday shopping, make sure you pick up an extra toy or two and help us spread some love to Metro Detroit this season. We look forward to seeing you December 13th through the 17th as we stuff our studio with Woodward Sports and Myre.
Woodward Sports Network, let's go! Ho, 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 ho!
It's Adam, Jeff, and Kennedy. Mornings on the Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Woodward Show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on your busy Thursday morning. All right, we are going to get into Russell Wilson. Where could he be off to next? He is currently not happy with the Seahawks. Regardless of his wife's beautiful Met Gala look, if anyone missed it, Sierra wore a completely bedazzled Seahawks dress with a football-shaped clutch. It was the most iconic thing I've ever seen. It was amazing, literally amazing. But anyway, he doesn't want to do that anymore. He says there are 3 teams that he would strongly consider: the Broncos, the Saints, or the Giants. So, that being said, Adam, which of these teams do you think he would fit on the best?
Well, let's look at why he picked those 3 teams.
Okay.
And why it makes sense for him and why, some of them are football reasons and others aren't. And we can start with the team that isn't for football reasons, and that's the New York Giants. They're not a good football team right now. A bunch of aging, injury-riddled assets on the offensive side of the ball. Yes, the offensive line is okay. It has some pieces, but look, the move to New York for Russell Wilson is a strategic move. We all know how famous my wife is. We all know how famous I am. This is a business move. I don't mind going to New York, settling down there, playing my football in a very hostile media environment. But hey, I'm at the mecca of basically the United States in terms of business, the stock exchange. Everything is in New York. They say the city that never sleeps. So I think that's why he chose the Giants. Now, here are the 2 teams that I think are interesting, and there's one of them that I love.
Okay.
So the team I think that's interesting is the Denver Broncos. I think they have a really talented roster. Vic Fangio, defensive-minded guy. The defense for Denver plays really well. Patrick Surtain II is really good. Talk about kids living up to their dad's hype, if not playing even better level. Patrick Surtain, when I was growing up, was a baller. His kid is a baller, and he's in year 1. That's amazing. And what are the Broncos missing? It's, Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock. They need a quarterback. And if they land themselves a Russell Wilson, imagine him throwing to Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, Javonte Williams as their feature marquee running back under that offensive line with that defense. That's a good team. But the team I love is Sean Payton and the New Orleans Saints.
Why?
Oh, my goodness, the fit. I am in love with this. Now, whether or not Michael Thomas ever returns to his level or Alvin Kamara ever comes back healthy, I could care less. Give me Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, and the rest will figure itself out. I am all for it. I think that is the best move. He's going to a stable organization, an outstanding, brilliant, and may I add, again, offensive-minded head coach who is going to build the right pieces around him. I am all for the Saints move. If the Saints can trade a few first-round picks, Taysom Hill, and maybe one marquee player for Russell Wilson, I think they should absolutely do it. And I don't think the Seahawks have the leverage they think they do. This is going on 2 years now of Russell Wilson publicly wanting to leave the team. And it's starting to look like he's leaving and Pete Carroll is staying. And I think if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan, that is extremely concerning. I don't know why you're clapping.
I love Pete Carroll. He's like one of the funniest coaches ever.
I love...
I'm sorry. I love Pete Carroll. Sue me! Sue me.
I love Boston cream donuts. I don't eat them every day because I would be a diabetic and I'd look like Mike McCarthy.
You always got to bring up stuff like this.
It's
Keep
the
going,
truth.
though.
Just because you love something doesn't mean it's good for you.
I know.
All right?
I know.
Fans love Jim Caldwell. Doesn't mean he was good for you.
was
Fans
better
they love Pete Carroll. He is so good. Players guy. Hey, sitting in front of his locker room while they're 4-8. Hey guys, that was a big win. We're not quitters. We don't quit here.
True.
All right. Take your players coach. That's fine. Sometimes what you love is not good for you.
I know. I
That's
always
why
fall
there's
in
a
love
thing
with the
in life-
players' coaches.
Well, that's why there's this thing in society. We call it divorce. Because someone you love may not be good for you. And you should move the hell on. Especially when you know they're not good for you anymore. That's
Adam's
why we have
looking
divorce
into
in
my
this society.
future right now. He's like, Kennedy, there are divorces happening in your future.
Yeah, it's not about liking. You can like Pete Carroll. I don't care. Like him all you want. Rah, rah, kumbaya, players coach. Mister, I'm not going to give Marshawn Lynch the ball at the 1 yard line because I want to make Russell Wilson a superstar. Be my guest. Be my guest.
Well, Russell
But
Wilson,
just because you love something does not mean it's good for you.
he's returning from his broken finger.
I don't care.
And
They
I'm
weren't
just
a good
saying,
team before he got
They've
hurt.
dropped 3 of 4 since he's been back.
They're not playing good.
No.
They're not a good football team. They don't have a good defense. Their offensive line is atrocious. They have a non-existent run game. I don't blame Russell for wanting to get out of Seattle. Keep in mind, they were 12-4 last year with that very same roster. And he managed to work around it and deal with it and win football games. Stop it. Send him to New Orleans. I'm all for it. I think the Saints is the absolute perfect destination for Russell Wilson. I couldn't think of a better one. I know Lions fans will bring up, well, why doesn't he come to Detroit? Why don't we give up, our first overall pick for Russell Wilson? I wouldn't do that. I really wouldn't. You're not a quarterback away. You're not. Even if you got Russell Wilson, the capital you would have to give up would prevent you from fixing, let's be honest, what's not the best roster.
Correct.
So you kind of give and take here. I think you stick to your guns. Whether you want to trade back in the upcoming draft is on you. But I love, and let me just say it again, I love Russell Wilson to the New Orleans Saints. That is such a good move. And look, again, I'm sure Russell Wilson deep down loves Pete Carroll. They won a Super Bowl together. They went to 2 Super Bowls, multiple division titles, so much success, so much winning, so many good memories. You can love somebody. That does not mean they're good for you. Just because you love something, just because something at one point in time made you happy, does not mean A, it makes you happy right now, or B, it'll make you happy in the future.
This seems deeper than football right now, what you're saying to me.
This is exactly what football is, and you can apply this to all of life. Move on. And since the Seahawks won't move on from Pete Carroll, they should move on from Russell Wilson.
Well, we brought up Russell maybe going to the Broncos. And the Broncos love someone that we have. Teddy Bridgewater said, so Teddy Bridgewater was at the Saints the same time Dan Campbell was, so they know each other. Yep. He said that whenever he stood in front of the team and talked, you were ready to storm out of the meeting and punch someone in the face for no reason.
Great.
Speaking of a player's coach.
I'm glad. I didn't know that's how you win Super Bowls. I didn't know that's how you win divisions, let alone football games. Look, I'm not going to deny he's charismatic. He's got great character. I'm sure if he walked in this room right now and gave a 1-minute speech, I'd be ready to jump through this window and go out on Woodward and punch somebody in the face. I'm sure. But can you coach? And the guy for 6 straight weeks now has put the team in a bad position. And you guys let it slide because, it's a rebuild. It's okay. It's funny. It's funny. Look, back to Russell Wilson. What do you think of the Broncos, Kennedy? Actually, let me ask you this. Of the 3 rosters, which one makes most sense? I think we're going to agree.
Yeah. I mean, if it were me, if I had to go to one of these teams, I'd want to go to the Saints too. So.
Well, I think the Broncos have a more complete roster. Is that fair to say? Mm-hmm. And I think the appealing destination about New Orleans, one, it's New Orleans.
No, New Orleans is not appealing to me.
Oh, no, you've never been to New Orleans.
No, I haven't.
You need to go to New Orleans. It's a good time.
I've heard it's kind of grubby.
Huh?
I've heard it's kind of grubby.
What does that even mean?
Like dirty.
You know what that means, Adam?
Oh my goodness! Like you know
I've
what?
heard that
it's
from
usually
a lot
the
of people.
dirtiest places that have the best food and the best.
That's
drinks.
very true.
So stop.
The shadiest looking places always have the best food.
The shadiest looking places, you need to grow a pair and walk through that door because that'll be the best food you've ever had in your life.
I know, but I wanted to go for Mardi Gras, and my mom is like, "That is not safe."
That's your mom problem.
So I went to St. Louis instead.
That's your mom's problem, not yours.
So you say go.
I say go.
All right.
Yeah,
if you need
I've got
permission,
a lot of recommendations to go.
Say Adam said I go.
Father Adam is giving permission.
Father Adam.
Father Adam. But okay, so keep going. The Saints.
We
New
agree
Orleans.
the Broncos are probably the more complete roster right
Correct.
now. I think the Saints,
The
GM
Giants
wise,
are the worst.
head coach wise, is the best situation, and the Giants I think is just like a media move. He just wants to get out to New York. It's a great place for his wife. She does a lot of business there. That probably is just a family move,
Right.
because he's not going to go to the Giants and turn it around.
No. I get that.
Who would you rather play for, Vic Fangio, Joe Judge, or Sean Payne? I think that answers itself. Right?
Yeah.
Don't tell me you're questioning that.
No, I did. I thought about it for a second.
Don't think about it. What I'm telling you is pure gospel. It's the truth.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. We have to go to break. When we come back, we will talk about something that I feel very passionate about, and that is, should these college players be skipping bowl games? We will get into that next, but first, our friends over at MyBookie.
Guys, how many times do I have to tell you, do not miss out on this first deposit bonus that MyBookie is running. Stop. Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting my time. Stop wasting your money. Dollar for dollar. Match your deposit using code Woodward. Sign up using code Woodward. Bet from anywhere, anytime. Stop this nonsense. Up to $1,000. You put in $200, they're giving you $200 to spend. It's a damn good deal. $500, big baller you are, go for it. $1,000, you're that risky? Be my guest. Dollar for dollar match at MyBookie right now. What are you waiting for? Use code Woodward. Having said that, if you suck at gambling, you don't know how to bet, and you're not listening to our Woodward Bet Show, and you're not learning from the pros, you need to call the Gambling Problem Hotline. 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. With mortgage interest rates unbelievably low, the stakes to find your new home have never been higher. And that's why Hall Financial's exclusive realtor network allows us to connect you with a top-rated realtor in your area, making sure you take on the housing market and win. Hall Financial has earned over 4,000 five-star reviews because of our technology and our commitment to closing your loan fast. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Woodward Show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. We need to talk about it. Should these college players be skipping their bowl games to focus on the NFL draft? Adam, so far. So far, Thibodeau is missing his bowl game. So is Arkansas wide receiver Treylon Burks, and then obviously Kenny Pickett. Undecided thus far about going to the Peach Bowl. What do you want fish for?
No, never mind. Love you, fish.
Look at him, he's so confused.
So innocent.
What do you want?
Nothing. I was trying to get your attention.
Okay.
It's too late now. We're on air, buddy. Continue. Get it?
That's all. What gets me, I think, is Kenny Pickett maybe not going to the Peach Bowl. That really pisses me off. But what are you doing? You're throwing me off so bad right now.
All right, ask your question so I can answer.
I already did. Should these college players be skipping their bowl games? I vote no.
Should they? You think no?
I think no.
Really? This is like
PUSSY
very
move.
shocking of you. I am really surprised that you're not on the other side of this.
Why would I be on the other side?
We don't have to get into that.
Listen.
We can talk about that after the show. Not
Wait, what?
Listen. I think 10 years ago, you probably sit there 15 years ago and you say, no, they shouldn't. But look, guys, times change. This isn't 1970 where the students are going all 4 years. This isn't the 80s, not the 90s. Stop it. Get with the program. If coaches are allowed to up and leave and go accept millions and millions of dollars to coach another team and not have to coach their bowl game, the players have every right to do the exact same thing, especially if they believe that is the best interest in their health and their future going into the NFL. Now, not everybody's Kenny Pickett. Not everybody's going to be a first-round pick. If Joe Schmo, who returns punts and runs on special teams, wants to set out a bowl game, you're going to look at him like, dude, you're going to go undrafted. What the hell are you doing? But if these, top-end players want to sit out, I don't have a problem with it.
What?
If coaches are allowed to do it, I'm okay with the players. Just like, years ago. Everyone said, no, the players shouldn't get paid. It's going to ruin the game. They're getting paid, and they're doing just fine. They are doing just fine. Prime examples. Blake Corum, giving back. J.J. McCarthy, giving back. Stop it. And you know, a lot of what I see on Twitter is people putting their insecurities, what they would do, how they would act, their problems, their mistakes onto other people. I'm not joking. People are so funny in this world. Just because you would do X, Y, and Z doesn't mean I would in that situation. Mm-hmm. And people project their problems and their inability to do the right thing and their mistakes and their insecurities onto other people. And that's what this is all about. Stop it with these kids. They have the right choice. They want to go in the transfer portal. They want to leave. They can do whatever the hell they want. This is actually a business. It's no longer college. And it's no longer college the day that the NCAA took this business to the next level. That's it. Players are getting paid now. There's NIL. Move on. They 100% should be allowed to skip out on bowl games. Now, look, is there going to be a star player that sits out a college football playoff one day? Maybe. I doubt it. You couldn't convince me not to play in the state championship game because I wanted to go to spring training at Michigan healthy. Like, I wouldn't miss out on my high school state championship game just so I made sure I was ready to go to Ann Arbor or Michigan or whatever, wherever it was. Mm-hmm. And I think that's I think people underestimate players. They're going to play in significant games. But I'm not playing the Snickers Deluxe Bowl when I'm projected to be a first-round pick. Sorry, not doing it.
So if you're Kenny Pickett, are you playing in the Peach Bowl?
No.
Really?
No. I am projected right now to be a first-round pick. The last game that people have on me is me running all over an ACC team, winning the title game, putting in a dominating performance. I looked good. That is the last piece of film people have on me. That's their last memory of me. I'd like to keep it that way. I am going to go work on my footwork. I'm going to work on progressional reads. I'm going to understand how teams in the NFL disguise coverage. I am going to prepare myself to interview with GMs so I can give them good answers so they believe in me to be their essential CEO of their franchise if they take me. That's what Kenny Pickett should be focusing on. Now, if Pittsburgh were in a title game, or I should say college football playoff, he would be playing.
Yeah.
And he would even say that. And that's not a knock on Michigan State. Oh, we don't want to play Michigan State. It's just, no, it's not about the schools. They're protecting their own interests, and I don't mind it. If a player actually, and I'm talking not just, the guy that returns punts, a star player on their team skipping a college football playoff game, I doubt that ever happens. I really do. The Snickers Bowl, no offense, the Alamo Bowl, the Ketchup Bowl, the Mayo Bowl, whatever it is. No offense. But if I am in a position where I'm a first, second round pick, I'm allowed to make that choice. Now, if you're projected to go in the 7th round or undrafted, shut the hell up and play. You need it. But no, there are people that are going in the 1st and 2nd round, and they're going to be high draft picks, and they're going to get paid very well. If they want to make that decision, I'm not going to stand in their way.
Yeah, I get that. I think I was doing exactly what you were saying because I knew. I was like, well, if it were me, all these other players on my team, if I'm Kenny Pickett, for instance, I'm the quarterback of a team, they're going into a bowl game. I wouldn't want to let down all those other seniors that I know aren't going to go to the NFL and keep playing down on their very last game to help them win.
You say that now until you're the star quarterback of a.
I know.
No, until you're the star quarterback of a college football team.
Yeah.
And you're projected to go probably first overall. He's going to skyrocket during the offseason on the draft boards just like Zach Wilson did. He is the media favorite right now. He's going to get pushed. We all know how much power media does have in pushing narratives. Let's be serious here. And you know what? If I'm Kenny Pickett's wide receiver and he tells me, look, bro, I'm sitting out. Like, I'm going to be a top 5, top 10 pick maybe. Like, I'm going to work on my game. I'm going to give him a big hug, and I'm going to say, go take care of your family. Good for you. Good for you. Because the last thing I want to see is Kenny Pickett get rolled up on against Michigan State and then lose all of his draft stock. Stop it. No, I'm actually in support of this. Like, I don't see a problem with it. I really don't. The situation is messed up both ways. Because I get you want to keep the integrity of the game, But you know what? There are players dying for that stage. You don't think Pittsburgh is already thinking of next spring and what their quarterback competition is going to look like, and whether or not the guy they're going to start against Michigan State is A, going to transfer, B, is he even eligible to move on, is he going to be the starter next year? Now they get a look at him. There are players that are going to get looks that wouldn't have had these players played. I'm all for it, and it's not just going to be in any game. It's going to be in a bowl game. People are going to be watching. Everybody's at home drinking their tails off. People are going to be watching the bowl games. All the scouts are going to be watching the bowl games. They're going to be like, who's that kid? Jeez, he jumped off my screen. 2.5 sacks in a bowl game? Hadn't played a down before that. Wonder what he does next year. Oh, wait, he's a senior? He did that good? Hey, Brad. Listen, I don't think this kid's going to get drafted, but, you know, I watched him live. He looked really good. You know what? If he doesn't get drafted, we should invite him to training camp. Undrafted free agent. We should go for him. That's what happens in these scenarios. And I'm all for it. I really am. I really am. I don't mind it. And again, if you're a quarterback, especially a quarterback, it's kind of easy to make that decision. No one's going to slander you. But like a Thibodeau, for example, a D-end, what more do you want to see? Everybody knows how gifted, how talented he is. He's going to be a top 3 pick. No one's changing that. Why should he go out there and risk tearing his Achilles, throwing out his knee, breaking a finger, breaking his hand, getting a chop block, ruining his leg? Why? Why should he risk that? Now, if Oregon were in the college football playoff, he would be the first to tell you, I am playing in that game.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, what they also do is they say, well, you know, they're scared to get hurt. And you know what? People that play at that level, if they play scared, they wouldn't be as good as they are. And they would have been hurt 10 times over already. Because the easiest way to get hurt in sports is playing scared. I'll tell you that right now.
This is very
And that is so important to teach young kids. Be fearless, relentless. Coaches are so hard on young kids for that very reason. It actually protects you in the long run. When you play fearless, when you don't play scared, when you're giving it 110%. It's not that these guys are scared. Most of these guys making these decisions are business decisions. Braylon Edwards said it yesterday. He had an insurance deal that if he would have gotten hurt in his last bowl game before going to the NFL, he would have been paid $2.5 million.
Nice.
Nice, right? You know what the Jets gave him signing bonus? $30 million. Or excuse me, the Browns when they signed him. He was a top 5 pick.
The heck,
That's
Braylon, take me out to dinner.
That's a $40, $50, $60 million contract in the NFL at the time.
Wow.
That's why they make those decisions. And I'm all for it. I'm for player mobility, and I'm definitely... They have the right to do that. I'm sorry. If Brian Kelly can get the hell out of town, skip Notre Dame's bowl game, these players have every right to move on. It's a business decision. It has nothing to do with being scared of getting hurt. And you know what? I think it's fair to say that the players that are hurt and have lingering injuries that choose to sit out, they're making the right decision too. They need to get healthy. Nobody wants to draft a guy with injury history.
Yeah.
When they physically examine you at the NFL Combine and in their own one-on-one drafts or their own one-on-one workouts, if you say, yeah, you know, I have a lingering finger issue right now, I'm not going to do this workout, they're going to be like, dude, you're banged up in the workout. I haven't even drafted you yet. It's going to affect their money. It's going to affect their stock. No.
I was talking about Kyle Hamilton in the chat. This makes me so happy.
What about Kyle Hamilton?
That they want him. I love that for us. Someone asked Adam, if we win 2 or 3 more games, we might miss out on the #1 pick. So who would you take after that if we were drafting quarterback?
If you fall to let's say you fall to 5.
Then we're taking Kyle Hamilton.
I think hopefully you take Kyle Hamilton, yes. But I think if you're 1, there has to be a trade out there that you can maneuver back and really excel and get more capital. Having said that, guys, Kyle Hamilton is really nice. Very talented kid. I think he'll be really good in the NFL.
I hate that he's been injured all year.
Having said that, he plays safety. I'm not discrediting his position. Edge rushers are more valuable. And if you have a guy that's getting to the quarterback pressure-wise 25, 30 times a year and getting you 10, 12 sacks, that's who you take. That's who you take. So I get the Kyle Hamilton love. I'm not trying to discredit him when I say they shouldn't take him number 1. But last I checked, he's no Ed Reed.
Well, and the Lions don't need to even risk.
You know the
Picking a
balls you need
safety
to
at
have to
number
take
one.
Kyle Hamilton number 1. All these people on YouTube, Twitter, all these
And, I love Kyle
all these
Hamilton.
fat finger people that love to tweet stuff because they're not held responsible for it. Yeah, I would take Kyle Hamilton 1. You would never get another job in the NFL if you did that. Stop it. Stop.
You're
it.
not wrong.
You would not take Kyle Hamilton number 1. You would sit there and say, I want to trade back to get Hamilton. Or, you know what? Edge rusher is the most valuable position on defense, and we don't have it. We need one. Hutchinson or Thibodeau. Make a decision, guys. Scout team, what do you think? Head coach, what do you think? All right, I took all this information in. I'm making the decision as the GM. There you go. You're not taking Kyle Hamilton at 1. Stop.
But we could trade back
You
for
could
him,
trade back and
everyone.
take him, and I'd be more than okay with that.
Me too. All right, Adam, we got to go to break. We will talk about Michigan football coming up next. But first, our friends with the best defense, Guardian Alarm.
All right, guys. Guardian Alarm, you want to talk about defense. The Lions are going to, let's be honest, they're overachieving. But a company that's, I don't want to say overachieving because they hold themselves to an excellent, perfect standard, something this town doesn't know anything about when it comes to their professional football teams. That's Guardian Alarm. A good defense on and off the field helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm uses their state-of-the-art technology to help you feel safe. All with 24/7 local monitoring, Guardian Alarm has convenient features that let you check in on your home, control your lights, temperatures, detect smoke or carbon monoxide. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT today. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years, guys. And as someone that has it in my house, believe me, alarm systems are so convenient. You go in, you just enter your code, everything's fine. If you don't do it, or if someone's breaking into your house, police will be there within minutes. I don't see how you own a home and you don't have Guardian Alarm in your house. So if you need help, call our friends at Guardian Alarm. Tell them the guys from Woodward Sports sent you, and they'll take care of you. They're really good people.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate of
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. Did you know mortgage rates are still at generational lows? If you haven't refinanced your home loan yet, there's still time. Now is your second chance to refinance. You could lower your monthly payment, eliminate credit card debt, or even take cash out by using your home's equity. Call Hall Financial now to get started with your free 5-minute mortgage review. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Morning Woodward Show. Adam, you wanted to get into how Michigan fans should be feeling right now going into this game against Georgia, and obviously about their season as a whole. Do you want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah, so we were kind of talking, we were prepping for the show yesterday, and it's like, all right, well, how do Michigan fans feel? One, about playing Georgia, but two, about their season. Because after Devil's Night in East Lansing, there was a lot of panic. There was a lot of frustration. And I think we're one of the few shows locally that sat up here and said, why are you panicking? You have a damn good football team. The schedule is there in front of you for you to go out and win the rest of your games. And what did? They did it. And they earned a college football playoff appearance. And they dominated Iowa in the championship game. So when you ask me, Adam, like, what do you mean you want to talk about how Michigan fans should feel? Well, this is finally what your expectations on what Harbaugh was supposed to deliver. And part of me feels Michigan fans have the sense of, we're just happy we're in the college football playoff. This feels right. And I think actually the slight majority of Michigan fans that truly look at this team, truly watch it, and really pay attention to the details are saying, you know what? I don't think we're just we made it to the college football playoff, we're happy team. We got something here. Our offensive line travels. Our defensive line travels. Run game travels. That's a damn good football team. And yes, they play Georgia. But you know what? I like their chances. And I think Michigan fans feel the exact same way. I really do. I think Michigan fans right now are sitting at home saying, you know what? I actually think we can beat Georgia. I truly believe that's what most Michigan fans are feeling and thinking right now. I don't think they're sitting around saying, you know what? We're just happy we got here. We finally beat Ohio State. I don't care if Georgia beats us by 70. Like, I'm happy. I don't even think it's that. And I don't think Michigan fans think they're below Georgia right now. And I'm not saying that in an egotistical way where they feel they're better than everybody because they finally delivered on what we'd expect of them. But it's this, if you really look at this football team, you like it. You love it. You know they're good. They can run the ball. They can play defense. Mike McDonald's done a phenomenal job. They can get to the quarterback. Michigan fans feel good right now. I think this team is built different, and they've proven it. Michigan teams that you want to write off from years past, they lose to Ohio State. They don't recover and go on the road and beat Penn State. They don't do that. They collapse after losing to Michigan State. That's what Michigan has done in all the years past. That's why this team feels different. And I'm on board. I really am. I think the Michigan-Georgia game, Georgia opened up as what, 9.5-point favorites? And now I think it's up to 10.5?
Why'd it get higher?
I'm putting thousands of dollars on that line. I'm taking Michigan with the points. That is so friendly. And look, Georgia, Joel Klatt, I think, is probably the best college football analyst out there right now. I don't think it's even a question. And he made a really good point the other day. He said, Georgia, when they made their schedule this year, they really thought they were going to test themselves. Tennessee, Florida, Clemson early on. And all these teams, and you're like, well, none of them are good. Clemson didn't have an offense 2-3 weeks into the season. They were non-existent. They had a rough start to the season. All the SEC teams that we scheduled, well, they weren't all that good, and it kind of gave Georgia this false sense of we have the best defense in the country. Nobody can stop us. We're undefeated. Nobody can beat us, not even Alabama. And you know what happened? They opened up as favorites against Alabama, and they got crushed. And Michigan smells the blood. And Georgia are looking at themselves saying, well, that's the first good team we've played, and now we're in the college football playoff and we got to play another damn good team in Michigan. What the hell's going to happen to us? Now, I'm not saying Michigan's going to blow them out, but I think Michigan fans are feeling like they can go and beat Georgia. They believe they can do it, and I don't blame them for that. And I am actually extremely happy that a majority of them think that way. And Anthony Broome is going to be joining us at 9 o'clock. And I want to ask him this very question. But I truly believe that it's not even a false sense of expectation, fool's gold. No, this team is different. And I think people should get behind it. And they should ride it into the Georgia game. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit, just like it didn't surprise me at all the entire season, when they were winning games, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if they beat Georgia and they got to the title game. It wouldn't. Because I would sit up here and say, you know what? Not even an I told you so. It was in front of you the whole time. You chose not to see it. And I really believe in this in life, and you can apply it anywhere in general. Sometimes, all the answers you're looking for in life, they're right in front of you. You choose not to see it. You choose not to do the correct things to allow you to see these things, to allow you to put yourself in a position to be successful. And I am extremely happy with Michigan. And yes, I did want J.J. McCarthy to be the starting quarterback. Absolutely, and I will not apologize for that. Having said that, this run defense, this pass rush, this run offense, the offensive line, the ability for Michigan to get hit big plays down the field, that is something you haven't seen for the previous 6 seasons under Harbaugh, and they finally delivered it. And yes, they did it with the game-managing quarterback in Cade McNamara, and he's done an outstanding job of what's been asked of him. I'm all in on this Michigan team. And I think most Michigan fans are. And I think if you're on the edge as a Michigan fan, and you're saying, you know what, look, honestly, Adam, like, we're just happy right now. Like, don't give us this expectation. I'm really not. This is not an expectation. This is reality. You have a damn good football team, and one should be proud of it, and 2, you should feel confident, I think, going into Georgia as 10-point underdogs, because I think you're going to surprise a lot of people. I really do. And even if you lose to Georgia, and even if they beat you, you beat Ohio State, you beat Penn State on the road, you beat Nebraska on the road, you beat Wisconsin on the road, you went 11-1 in the regular season. You won the Big Ten title. You smoked Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. You had a damn good year to remember. And you sent Mr. Famous Jim himself, play-by-play caller for Michigan, you sent him off with the best thing ever, beating Ohio State. Michigan, you had a great season. Be proud of it. And don't be scared of going and playing Georgia. I really do believe Michigan has a chance. And Kennedy, I kind of want what you think of Michigan and what their chances look like. But you can be honest with me here. I know you look Ohio State girl, but I'm telling you, and I can say the same about it as an Ohio State fan. If I'm addressing Ohio State fans, this is what I'm telling them.
What?
You've got unbelievable talent at wide receiver next year to replace the talent you're losing. Henderson will be a sophomore. So he'll be more experienced, and he'll probably be the best back in the Big Ten next year. You're going to have a strong offensive line. Hopefully the defense gets a little better. And should I mention you have C.J. Stroud?
I do.
One of the favorites for the Heisman next year, along with Bryce Young. You're fine. You're fine, Ohio State.
Yeah.
You're going to be just fine.
And we're going to have a better defensive coordinator now. Woo.
Yeah, you're going to be just fine. No, you're not falling off a cliff. You'll be just fine, and you'll be just as competitive next year. This year, it was Michigan's year. Next year could be Ohio State, could be Michigan State. Hell, we could have a shock. Could be an undefeated Iowa or Penn State. Who knows?
Who knows?
All I do know is that the Big Ten has never been in this type of upward trajectory.
It's very exciting.
In my lifetime. It's very exciting. It's SEC-esque.
It's so good for football when the Big Ten is good.
Oh, it's amazing for football. Everybody can acknowledge that.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it. I really am.
But yeah.
What do you think?
It hurts. It hurts so bad.
Well, forget fandom on the side.
No, I know. Fandom, I'll put it away. This Michigan team, it does look, obviously the best we've seen in years. Like I said, I lived in Indy for 4 years. Never saw Michigan, saw lots of Ohio State. But I'm proud of them, I guess. I like when the Big Ten is good. And so I'll be secretly, rooting for them.
How good is it going to feel when Ohio State wins the Big Ten again? How good is it going to feel?
Much better.
It's going to feel better than
it's going to feel better than
the
before.
previous 7 of them. You know that?
You're right.
And that's why parity is so important. Now, look, I can respect Alabama's domination. Respect Ohio State. I can respect Clemson, but god damn it, does it feel good when you win something after you've lost?
And that's what's so frustrating. I freaking hate that Bama got in because I'm so sick of Bama winning every year. And for so long. I'm bored. I'm bored of Bama. I'm bored of Saban. I'm over it.
Ohio State should look to their own conference right now because it's getting better. Mel Tucker's here to stay, so recruiting is going to be more of a challenge. I'm not going to say Ohio State's not going to be able to recruit the same, but it's going to be more challenging. People are going to look around the state of Michigan and Ohio and that 100-mile radius, and they're going to say, well, I could go to Ann Arbor. Jim Harbaugh, professional coach, coaching the NFL, NFC title games, 3 of them, Super Bowl. Oh, I could go Mel Tucker, SEC ties, knows how to coach good players, does a hell of a job in the transfer portal, overachieved with Michigan State. Are they the future? Ohio State, Buckeyes, they've been the future. Do I go there? Quinn Ewers just transferred. He doesn't want any part of C.J. Stroud. Can I make the team? Watch out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good watch. It really is.
It will be fun.
I'm really excited. We got 3 minutes before Anthony joins us. So I'll leave Michigan fans with this, and then we'll get Anthony on, and that'll be a really good time. Michigan fans, enjoy this one. And I know you are. But truly, truly enjoy this. And there's some dude walking extremely slowly behind me. That's not creepy at all.
I love
threw
that
me
you
off
just watched
completely.
that happen.
Michigan fans, you truly earned and deserved a year like this where you can celebrate a Big Ten title and say, you know what? That is the first time since 2004. Everyone shut the hell up. Because after 2004, it's been a rough go. And you were patient with Harbaugh enough. And your program believed in him enough that he finally put together the team and the coaching staff that could deliver. Congratulations, Michigan fans. We got to go to break.
We do have to go to break, and that means I get to tell you guys about our second annual Stuff a Studio. Woodward Sports and Myre presents Stuff a Studio, collecting toys for Mott's Children's Hospital. The Woodward Sports Studio, 34915 Woodward Avenue in Birmingham, from December 13th through 17th, to help all of the children who've been in the hospital all year have the holiday they deserve. Last year, Woodward Sports donated over $70,000 in toys to the Mott's Children's Hospital in Ann Arbor, making it the largest donation in Mott history. This year, we are doing it again by teaming up with Myre, our great partners, and the power of our supporters, aka you guys, to help stuff our studio full of toys. You can drop off a toy anytime at our studio between December 13th through 17th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. If you are a local business, we will give you a shout out, or you can go ahead and donate online at woodwardsports.com.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. Choosing between a 15 or 30-year mortgage can be difficult, which is why we offer the Modern Mortgage, a flexible term that's customized for you. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Woodward Show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We have somebody waiting for us, and it's Anthony Broome. Thanks so much for joining us. We can't wait to talk some Michigan football with you, especially since you were just in Indianapolis, even though you didn't listen to me and go get milkshakes at Gordon's. I'm still mad, but it's fine. Welcome to the show. Thanks for hanging out with us.
What's up, Anthony?
I don't want any beef with you, Kennedy. So
I know. I
don't take
know.
it too personally. There's a chance I could be back in a few weeks, so there's that too.
That's very true.
I will give you a list of all of my favorite indie recommendations. I have a lot
Take
of
them
them.
to heart. Let me know. I'd love to
Okay.
go back.
All right, Anthony, thank you so much for joining us this morning, buddy. Always good to talk to you. I just finished talking about how I believe Michigan fans should feel, and to sum it up for you and not to bore you for too long, essentially, one, they should really enjoy this and be proud of this moment. First Big Ten title since 2004. They've gone through so much to have gotten to this point. And they did it, I think, in a fantastic way. They lost to Michigan State early on in the year. They recovered, or not early on, 7 games in. They lost. They recovered. They went on the road. They beat Penn State. They beat Maryland. And then they went home and finally beat Ohio State. And then they crushed Iowa in the title game. And here you are. And I think Michigan fans should be feeling confident against Georgia. What do you think?
I don't think anyone really needs to take your advice, Adam. I mean, I think they're doing all those things. I tweeted over the weekend that I don't know if social media is ready for the next 365 days of what Michigan fans are about to talk and what they're about to do. And I'm with you. I think they have more than a puncher's chance against Georgia. I mean, it's a team that's similar to them in a lot of ways, except for the fact that Georgia's just got that 5-star talent all over the field. But, start at Ohio State. And this is a Michigan team that, to your point, it has been a spectacular run, and it's been they're good. They're talented. I think they were good enough on their own to win 9 or 10 games this year just based on the talent on the roster. But this is a group that is cohesive. They are together, and they're just not, it's so cliche, especially we know how sports are today. It's not quite as heartwarming as maybe, the 80s or 90s or whatever when you had these storybook type moments. But this is a team that was not going to be denied. And from here, I mean, like I said, it's all kind of gravy. All the narratives, I mean, except for the, under 500 against Michigan State have been checked off. Beat Ohio State, win the Big Ten, win big games on the road, get to the college football playoff. They've done all of it. So to a certain extent, Michigan is really playing with house money here, but you have a shot to at least win one more football game here and give yourself a chance to win a national title when people thought that this was if Michigan wins 8 or less games, Jim Harbaugh should be fired type of year. It's incredible. And a couple days removed from that, it still hasn't completely sunk in yet that that's the reality of where we're at.
Yeah. Anthony, I think what's interesting right now is Michigan have an opportunity to win their 13th game of the year. And I can't remember in my lifetime where they had ever won 13 games, let alone get close to it. And I think it's a lesson for a lot of people, and especially, social media today. You understand how the crowd is in public. Everybody wants everybody's head. You have cancel culture. You have people that are unwilling to be patient. They want it now. And I think we learned a valuable lesson. When you have a good coach, and I'm not talking a guy that's never delivered at any level. I'm talking a guy with true cachet, a real resume. When you have a guy like that, like Michigan did in Jim Harbaugh, and you were 6 years through, and it was really 5 because I don't even count the COVID year, and he had delivered 3 10-win seasons. He had gotten you 3 times into the last game of the season with an opportunity to play in the Big Ten title game, but you just lost to Ohio State. I think this was a good lesson for people to learn patience. And Harbaugh finally figured it out. He hired a younger staff. He brought in a Mike McDonald, who's been a phenomenal hire. Josh Gaddis has really put it together this year. What are your thoughts on just being patient and how I think we lack it in society today?
Well, I'll say this. When Jim Harbaugh was hired, nobody signed up for it taking 7 years to get there. So to a certain extent, sometimes you just have to get back to it and keep working. Or unless you become Texas or USC or Florida or these programs that claim to be blue bloods that they cycle through so much change, there's no time to even, harvest the fruit of all the work that was put in. So, like I said, I mean, to Harbaugh's credit, and to go back what you said about the 12 wins, 13 wins, they've never won 13 games as a program.
Yeah,
they've only won
I'm
12
looking
wins.
now,
Right.
and they haven't won 12. They haven't won 12 games since 1997.
Yep, 1905 and 1997. That's it. So this is history that we're seeing this year, and it's like I said, it's been an incredible turnaround. you have a chance to get 13, maybe 14. We'll see. But yeah, this is I just think it's less about patience and more about this is the best coaching job that Jim Harbaugh's done with any team at any level of football he's coached. Given everything, like I know you say you're throwing out the COVID season. I can't forget what I saw last year. They went 2-4. They didn't look like they wanted to be there. The culture was bad. There was lack of communication throughout the program. To turn around that much that quickly, it's incredible. And Jim Harbaugh, I think for what my money's worth, you're starting to see these accolades come out. Pro Football Focus Coach of the Year. He should be the National Coach of the Year.
Yep, I'm
no
with
one's
you
ever
on that.
taken an unranked team from the spot they were to the college football playoff. It's his to lose this year. So I mean, it's just the turnaround's been incredible. He hit home runs with every single hire he made this offseason. Brought in younger, better communicators, teachers of the game, and that really helped them to adjust the culture at really just a ground level. When it's easy to come to work every day when for players and coaches when you like the guys that you're working with, and I don't think that's been the case last year. So.
Well, Anthony, I really went into the season with patience and really more understanding with Jim because I compared him to Dabo Swinney. You compare their first 6 seasons side by side, and it's extremely similar. Very similar 10-win seasons. Yes, Dabo Swinney had won the ACC, but the strength of schedule and the strength of the conference aren't even close. But the point is, Dabo took off year 7. And I thought of it, and I looked at it, and I said, you know what? If there was ever a year for Jim to really do it, it was the year he walked in unranked. Because what did he do, Anthony, all those years ago when he walked into the Michigan job? First game before Utah, they were unranked. Everybody was like, well, how long is it going to take Jim to turn it around? He did it year 1. And I really think the cards were in his favor this year. I think a lot of things had to come together that typically haven't in years past. But, yeah, man, I'm with you. Yes, you don't want to have to wait 7 years for him to deliver on what he promised, especially because of his coaching acumen. But, a little patience, especially when you're seeing good things. Outside of that 2-4 season during COVID, you had 10-win seasons, you had 9-win seasons, and you just lost all those bowl games, so you missed out on another 2 10-win seasons. So, yeah, man, I think the whole Harbaugh thing is super interesting. What I do want to ask you now moving forward is we've seen all the contracts around college football get thrown around. Jim Harbaugh obviously took a pay cut, and deservedly so, considering, hey, man, like, you got to step it up. What does Michigan do after the season? Are there talks already brewing behind the scenes of, yeah, we're probably going to have to pay Jim and re-up him. Mel got the extension. Ryan Day's looking good. Brian Kelly, all these guys around college football are getting paid the big bucks. Is Jim Harbaugh going to go in and, give a subtle, hey, like, I command this kind of money? Or like, hey, man, like, I'm just really happy to be at Michigan?
Yeah, it's funny. Mel Tucker's made a lot of people a lot of money over the last few weeks, but Jim Harbaugh he's going to get paid. I would assume the second their season is over, when he gets back to the football building, there'll be something on his desk ready to sign. And I don't know what the money looks like, what the years look like, what the buyouts would look like. He's not a guy that's particularly interested in being the highest paid or things like that, but he will get paid. I mean, I'm sure they will at least double his pay back. Like I said, in terms of terms and things like that. But what we're seeing now is a wave of college football where if you think you have your guy, and this goes to your point, Adam, about being patient and investing in a culture and a future, you pay him and you lock him up long term. And with what Jim Harbaugh has done this year, it always felt like if he could just get that one win over Ohio State and just get that one win in Indianapolis, he could pretty much call a shot here. For a really long time after that. So, like I said, I think that there will be the wheels are already in motion there. People that we've heard from know that this is something that will happen. He will get paid. He's not going to just win like he has and say, well, see ya, off to the NFL. They'll pay me there. Michigan's going to take care of him. He wants to be at Michigan. So, yeah, that's something where I think that's going to be wrapped up pretty quickly after the season's over.
I love that point that you brought up, and it's going to take me here now, which is it's so funny that we're in this situation where he finally got over the hump. And you look at it, and Anthony, I don't think anybody realistically is expecting you have to win the Big Ten title every year. No. And you can have a down year every 3-4 years. But damn it, we can't go 7 years and not have anything. And I get the Michigan fan base frustration, but I also look at it and say, my goodness, you guys have been close multiple years. And I could argue you're two snaps away from changing all of this narrative. And I truly think it's really funny. I'm curious to see how they pay him. I don't think the figure is important. I don't think he cares about the years. I don't think he cares about the annual salary if it matches up with Mel Tucker. I think you're right. He's just happy to be in Michigan. But I'm going to ask you this, and I'm really curious. Now that Michigan, look, it's finalized, number 2, they're going to play Georgia. Did you, one, believe that the committee set this up in a way, one, so they could have a potential SEC final, and 2, what do we do about Luke Fickell, man? He is going to win Coach of the Year, and I completely disagree with it. I'm not sure how else I can advocate for Jim Harbaugh here.
Yeah, which one do I take first? I mean, I do think Michigan should have been number 1, because I do think the totality of your work is important. Michigan lost to a top 10 team on the road. That's just, it is what it is at this point. That's part of their resume, and you don't want to call a loss to Michigan State a good loss because it didn't sit well in that room. But they have the best quote unquote loss of anyone in the country over the last, in November. Since that game, no one in college football played better than them. They beat the hell out of Ohio State. It wasn't as close as the score indicated. They beat the hell out of Iowa. But Bama being Bama, it's, both teams had a case for it, and I think Michigan should have been number 1. I think they should have been playing Cincinnati. I think it's crap that we couldn't just run it back with Georgia and Alabama. But again, without getting into tinfoil hat conspiracy brain here, it's ESPN. They love the SEC. They are. I'll just leave it. I'll just stop there because
I got you. I feel you. Believe me. Well, what are we gonna do about Luke Fickell, man?
What to say about Luke Fickell? Like I said before, I can't make a stronger case than what's already been laid out there for Jim Harbaugh. I mean, Luke Fickell had a great season last year and has been really good at Cincinnati. But when you look at the mountain that Jim Harbaugh climbed, and you even put the human element of everything in there, I don't know how he's not the coach of the year. So we'll see. I mean, kudos to Cincinnati on getting in, but let's not kid ourselves here. Like, if Oklahoma State had taken care of business, or any of those teams,
if Oklahoma State, they would have been in over Cincinnati 100%.
I think so too. So again, that's nothing. That has nothing to do with Luke Fickell. But like I said, Cincinnati, to their credit, won the games on their schedule. They did what was asked of them to do to give them a shot to get in, and they did. And I think they have a shot to beat Alabama. I don't think this is a death march for them, but we'll see. I don't know how Jim Harbaugh's not your coach of the year. It's just
you brought it up earlier, man. Yeah, you brought it up earlier. 2-4 last season in a COVID year, completely turns it around with all the pressure on him. Coming to the season unranked. Last I checked, Cincinnati came into the season ranked in the top 5. They were 9-1 last year, and they went undefeated this year, playing nobody. And their strength of schedule was 87th in the country. Texas freaking Christian had a more difficult strength of schedule. I'm with you. I couldn't make a stronger case for Jim Harbaugh, but we'll have to wait and see. We know how media loves to drive narratives. You know what? Actually, Anthony, if you don't mind, I want to ask you one more question before we let you go.
I have one for you, too.
All right, then I'll let Kennedy ask first.
Oh, I get to go first? Mm-hmm. Okay. Anthony, I'm sure you're aware, I'm not really the biggest Michigan fan in the world. So I'm going to gear my...
I didn't get that vibe.
I'm going to gear my question a little bit more towards the Lions and about one of your latest tweets. It says, Aiden Hutchinson would love to play for the Texans or the Lions, and you quote tweeted that from the from Pro Football Talk and said, I fully expect the Lions to win another football game or two to ensure this doesn't happen. Anthony, I want to know, one, how lionized are you to tweet something like that? And also, do you think the Lions have another 2 wins left in them looking at their current schedule?
I'm extremely lionized. My dad and my uncles had season tickets for like 30 years. So I've made a lot of sad walks outside of Ford Field. So
yeah.
I would never rule anything out. Do I see another 2 wins on that schedule? Probably not. It kind of took a holy grail of things for it to happen for them on Sunday. It was their Super Bowl and all that stuff. But yeah, I'll say this too. Like, as lionized as I am, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Like, when you have the number 1 overall pick, you are not only looking for an all-pro talent, but you're looking for an all-pro type of personality that makes sure you are not picking that high ever again. And I know there's lines that are in a rebuild, and people, you want to pick that high to get a quarterback, but Aiden Hutchinson is the type of guy that, we talk about Jim Harbaugh and how he was able to turn this thing around. Aiden Hutchinson's a huge part of that. Like, he, through sheer force of will, put Michigan in the position it is it's in today. So to me, he checks all the boxes. I'd love to see him here. Dearborn Divine Child kid, so kind of the homecoming aspect there, but we'll see. I've watched this team for far too long. We'll see what they do, but nothing would surprise me.
I feel that. All right, Adam, go ahead and hit him with your question.
Anthony, the last thing I wanted to ask you before you went is, there's this huge saga and drama surrounding Kenneth Walker. I am on his side. I do believe it was a snub. I don't believe Michigan State are anywhere the football team they are without him, which is why I believe Aiden Hutchinson also deserves to be in New York. One, what's your take on it? And two, did he get snubbed, or are you like, you know what? He fell just short. I don't blame them for sending Stroud and Pickett over him.
He got snubbed. I think Pickett should be there, but kind of the Heisman is an award, at least through my criteria, and I'm not a voter, so who really cares? The Heisman is an award to me that is emblematic of greatness and raising your team up on your shoulders. Kenneth Walker should be there. No disrespect to Bryce Young, who will probably wind up winning the damn thing. He's not even the best player on his own team. I think Will Anderson should be there. So it's a quarterback's award for whatever reason. I mean, C.J. Stroud, again, really good football player, but you give Adam, you put me or you in football pads for 2 weeks, we could probably throw for 300 yards at Ohio State. Those wideouts and the weapons.
Oh, dude, I could hit that seam route 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, so that's I think it's crap those guys aren't there. I also think it's crap that only 3 or 4 guys get to go. And also, like, it just seems like with 870 voters, whatever it is, there should be a wider array of, and there's always going to be a regional bias there. I'm sure there are people in the South who every single person on the ballot was from Alabama or from the SEC. It just seems like there could be something different there to get who deserves. Like, I'm of the Ron Swanson mindset, right? It's generally speaking, I think that awards are pretty stupid and they're arbitrary. But they'd be less stupid if they went to the right people. And Kenneth Walker, and you guys can clip this. This is coming from a Michigan guy. Kenneth Walker deserves to be there, period.
I'm with you 100%, Anthony. We couldn't agree more on that.
Yes, we're all on the same page there. That
even
makes me
Ohio
happy.
State girl.
I know, even Ohio State girl is like really pissed for K9. But Anthony, thanks so much for hanging out with us and joining the show today. I'm sure we'll have you back after Michigan competes against Georgia. And hopefully,
no, we'll get you on the week of, man.
I would love that too.
I would love to get your prediction, and we can kind of like get nervous going into the weekend.
I don't get to get nervous this year. Feels good.
Sounds good. I always have time for you guys. Let me know.
Well, that's nice. Thanks so much again for hanging out with us today. We have to hit the break. And when we come back, we will be talking about which college football format we prefer. The 4-team, the 8-team, the 16-team, whatever you can come up with. We don't know yet. They don't even know yet. All right. Now, Adam, would you tell me about the Fulling Warehouse?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Fulling Warehouse is home of the original football bowling pin game called Fulling, of course. Host your corporate party event like we did not too long ago. Braylon Edwards and Ryan Ermani walked away as champions. Congratulations. They suck. They're lucky I wasn't there. Boom, completely. I'm with it 100%. Host your team building event or just come in with family and friends. There are 2 ways to play. They're $10 unlimited open play or reserve a private lane reservation, which I think I'm going to do very soon. I'm going to invite Maz, and me and Maz are going to beat everybody. Just to prove everybody wrong. Me and Maz are taking down the whole company.
Maz was horrible.
Maz was amazing. Trust me, Maz with me, give me 1 week with Maz, he'll look like Tom Brady.
Maz doesn't
Not
like
that he
Tom
wants to
Brady.
be Tom Brady. He hates him. Here, let me change it. You look like Eli Manning, Maz. That's not really a compliment, but that's all I can give you since you're from New York. Having said that, they have over 100 beers, $2 Mystic Beer Machine, and, of course, multiple bars throughout the facility. Come and get your full on. Visit foldingwarehouse.com. That's foldingwarehouse.com.
It's that time of the year again. Time for our second annual Stuff a Studio with Woodward Sports. Last year, Metro Detroit came together to help make the largest single toy donation in Mott Children's Hospital history. This year, we make it even bigger. Stuff a Studio is happening December 13th through the 17th at the Woodward Sports Studios in Birmingham. The children in Mott Children's Hospital fight so hard all year. Now it's up to all of us to help bring a smile to their faces. So while you're out holiday shopping, make sure you pick up an extra toy or two and help us spread some love to Metro Detroit this season. We look forward to seeing you December 13th through the 17th as we stuff our studio with Woodward Sports and Myre.
Woodward Sports Network, let's go! Ho, 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 ho!
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back, everyone. You're tuned into the Morning Woodward Show, featured on the Roar 93.5 FM, 99.1 FM, and 94.7 HD2. Happy Thursday. Like I said, getting into which college football format we prefer. Adam, 4-team, 8-team, or 16-team?
Well, okay, well, let's start with 16. That's
too many.
It's way too many.
Oh, I think we're going to be on the same page here.
Okay, so get the hell out of here with that.
But think about like a March Madness bracket with football. Kind of fun.
It would ruin the game. So let's start with 16. Okay. Middle fingers up.
I agree. Too many.
I don't want it. Way too many. 12 is interesting.
Okay.
Because the first 4 teams get a bye, and the remaining 8 play those teams. I kind of like 12. But I
could rock with 12.
I still think it's too much.
8
but if you're going to expand, 12 eliminates, well, we deserve to get there. Although you'll never get rid of that because the teams at 13, 14, and 15 will say, why are they better than us?
Right.
So you're never going to get that out of the game. Let's just start there.
I agree.
I like 12. I like 12 more than I like 8.
I like 8.
8 to me seems like if you're going to allow the 8th best team in the country to get in, what's separating them from 10? No, I'm being serious.
What separates 12 from 14?
That's my point.
Oh, jeez Louise.
Hear me out.
Okay.
The gap between 8, 10, and 12 isn't this insane margin. They're
going to be teams with like all the same records, pretty much.
And
it's
that's kind of where it gets.
Strength of schedule, though,
and that's why
which
strength of schedule should come into play, and that's why I like that idea so much. I think 12 is a good number, but right now, 8. What's the difference between 8 and 12? Are you guys ready?
Okay.
Ole Miss at 10-2.
Yep.
Oklahoma State at 11-1 or 11-2. Michigan State at 10-2. Utah at 10-3. Pittsburgh at 11-2. Between 8 and 12. I could make the argument I'd rather see Michigan State and Pittsburgh over Ole Miss. But I don't want to have to do that. And if you move it to 12, the top 4 teams get a bye. Teams are playing next weekend. And then it's 6 versus 12. So you got Ohio State versus Pitt. You've got Baylor versus Utah. Michigan State versus, what's the word I'm looking for? Or excuse me. It's Notre Dame versus Pitt. I'm sorry. 5 through 12. I messed it up. Top 4 teams get a bye.
Notre Dame would play Pitt.
Notre Dame would play Pitt. Ohio State would play Utah. I'm all for those matchups. Baylor would play Michigan State. That's a damn good matchup. And Ole Miss would play Oklahoma State. You've got 4 prime games. I am down for the 12 team.
Yeah.
First 4 teams get a bye. I'm all for it. Reward those first 4 teams. Now the top 4 teams are fighting all season wanting that bye.
Right.
I kind of like. I think 12 is the right number. What 8 does is it basically sends the message of, well, you don't need to be in the top 4 to get in anymore. It's not important to be top 4. Michigan just needs to be undefeated going into Ohio State, and if they lose, well, then they're in. It's okay. Like, I don't like that message. But when you send 12, the first 4 get byes. And whether or not that plays out to be an advantage, we'll have to wait and see. But if you're going to expand it, I like 12 as a number
But
more than I like the
can we
8
talk
format.
about why 8 makes sense?
8 makes sense because
it doesn't extend the regular
it
season
doesn't
too
extend
much.
the regular season. There's no bye weeks. 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5. It all balances out. Everybody plays who they should play. The team that finishes first should play the worst team of the bunch. I like that.
Yeah.
8 keeps the integrity to an extent.
I agree.
But knowing college football, it is a business. And I think they will absolutely be all for a 12-team format where the first 4 get buys. That's how they get rewarded. And then the following teams have to play the following week and get that out of the way.
Here's my question, though. So then, like the Rose Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl, they become like playoff bowls?
No, I just think they become playoff games. You got to eliminate that bowl aspect of it. I just don't. I mean,
like
you
the
could
bowls.
do that, but see, that's where 12 gets complicated.
Yeah, that's why I'm
when you
getting
move
confused.
it to 8, you have your top 4 bowl games. You dish them out, and then your your playoff finals, or the remaining 4, which is how it is now, can be whatever you want it to be. So you basically need to reserve 6 bowl games for the expansion of 8. If you expand it to 12, you're looking at 4. No, I don't think those games. I think those games should be played the week following the end of the regular season. And then those teams that get to the 8, then you have your 6-team bowl format. I think I like that most. 6 bowl games that you need to figure out. I'm okay with that. It's complicated. I know.
My brain is trying to
Well,
process.
which one do you like the most?
I think because I've always been from the stance that they're student athletes. These are still kids in college. They still are learning and things like that, as well as being an athlete, and they're already under so much pressure. I liked 8 because it doesn't extend the regular season. It doesn't infringe on the health and safety.
What I don't want is the integrity of the regular season to be washed away. Right now, college football, the week before the title games, you couldn't tell me that wasn't the best football you were watching.
Yeah.
You had to watch Michigan, Ohio State. The implications there were unbelievable. Baylor had to play in the Big 12. Oklahoma State had to play Oklahoma. There were so many meaningful games that needed to be played that you would technically lose by expanding. So I don't want to lose the integrity of the regular season. I think that's probably the most important aspect. So going to 12, although the idea makes sense, how much of the game am I losing? I don't want to lose too much of it. So, and I'm seeing in the chat 6. So how would 6 work? The top 2 teams get a bye week. And then the winners of the 4 play the teams on the bye. Oh, okay. But again, at the end of the day, you're never going to get rid of, well, we should have gotten in.
Yeah. No, that's...
So...
that's never going away.
6 kind of makes sense. 8, okay. I just don't want to lose the integrity of the regular season.
Same.
I don't want Ohio State and Michigan State at the end of the year to become meaningless.
So, Adam,
especially when both teams are good.
Right now, you like 12 the best? Because here, I'm rocking with 8 because I think it prevents
the fewer the
teams-
better. The fewer the better because it saves the integrity of the regular season.
Well, and I think with 8, you're not going to have too many teams from one conference get in. Does that make sense?
I don't think you can control that, right? I mean...
I just feel like it would be
So
a
right
lot
now,
of...
okay, so...
Yeah, take a gander.
So let's look at...
And I will admit, I like the bowl system.
Let's just be real here.
I'm a company gal.
Based on the 6-team bowl system, Alabama and Michigan would get a bye week. Georgia would play Ohio State. Cincinnati would play Notre Dame. Does
again?
anybody want to watch that?
Yes.
Except Notre Dame fans? No.
They're going to get their comeuppance
that makes
if
it
we did
interesting.
that.
But if you move it to 8, Alabama plays Ole Miss, Michigan plays Baylor, Georgia plays Ohio State, and Cincinnati plays Notre Dame. And you're
I'm
like,
actually
well,
not too mad at that.
Alabama already played Ole Miss, so it's tough. And I could make the argument, the team that's right now at 8, Ole Miss, wouldn't you guys prefer Pitt over Ole Miss? Wouldn't you prefer Utah maybe? Pac-12 champions?
Yeah.
What about Pittsburgh? They're conference champions. Shouldn't they be in at 8? What's the implication there? It gets so tricky. I just don't want to ruin the integrity of the regular season. Fish, what's up, buddy?
Adam, you do realize if they go to 8 or 12 teams, the rankings you see, they're not going to be the final rankings. They're going to switch it all up to make sure that teams played each other that haven't played each other in the regular season.
I don't think that's how they would... Look, I wouldn't pull it past them, Fish, but, I think 6 is probably your best case scenario. 6 or 8. Anything more than... 12 becomes... you're talking 3 rounds of college football playoff now. So, yes, I'm all for more games, but I don't want to lose the integrity of the regular season. If Michigan and Ohio State are 11-0 and 10-1 heading into the final game, and the team that's 10-1 wins and goes on to win the Big Ten championship game, I think that 11-1 team should have an opportunity to get in. I don't mind it. 6 makes sense. I kind of like it. You get a bye week for the top 2 teams, and then middle of December, the college football playoff, the 4, plays out, and then you have your semifinals. I don't oppose that. I don't oppose it, but do you want to give automatic qualifiers? Should a 3-loss Utah get in over a 2-loss, 11-win Oklahoma State? Should they get in over a 1-loss Notre Dame? Should they get in over Pitt? So you see the conversations we're having?
Well, that's
they're
why
never
they need a
gonna
structure.
go away.
Yeah.
What's up, Fish?
They need a structure. They need to tell you, we're going to 6 teams. This is who's going in. Big 12, Pac-12, Big 10, SEC, and all that, in order to make it somewhat...
Does anybody feel robbed this year? I don't think so. I think they got it right this year.
Yeah, they
If
did what they had to
Oklahoma
do.
State would have won, Cincinnati would have felt robbed.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma State didn't win. And Cincinnati got in. So this year, actually, we have the 4 teams that should theoretically be in.
Yep.
So what are we complaining about? What's next? What are we going to cry about on Twitter next?
Well, you're crying about Cincinnati.
No, I'm not.
You were, and you technically still are.
I'm not. I'm pointing out the truth, Fish. They have the 87th most difficult schedule in the country. They were 9-1 last year playing cupcake teams. They went undefeated this year playing nobody. And I'm supposed to reward them over Oklahoma State? Absolutely not. But Oklahoma State did lose. And I'm going to tell you to your face, they deserve to be in. Because there was no team more deserving outside of Cincinnati for the number 4 spot. I totally admit that. And I will say that. But had Oklahoma State won, and they were a 12-1 Big 12 champion, F you, Cincinnati. Sorry, go back to your state and figure out how to spell the state name.
You
do realize you still have to win your
kids
teams.
don't even do that.
You still have to beat the teams in front of you. It's not easy to go 13-0, whether you have an easy schedule or a hard schedule. You still have to win it.
Look, it's tricky. Look, I mean, I can support any of these formats. I can stick...
Not 16.
16's too much. No. 12, it kind of plays out correctly. That's why you can't ignore it. 4 teams get a bye week, and then 5 to 12 play it out. And then they go play those teams in the college football playoff. But how beaten down are those teams going to be by the time they get to Alabama, Michigan, Cincinnati, Georgia? That's the tricky part about 12. But it makes so much sense. So much money you're making. Remember, this is a business. 12 makes the most sense financially.
But are we going to run into what we're running into
Players
now?
skipping out?
Yes.
That's
but not
a time for another segment, another day. Absolutely, we should talk about that.
People pointed out the NIL money. Like, will sponsors say, hey, I'll give you $2,000 to play in the bowl game? Maybe they would say, well, I'm going to go to the bowl game now.
I don't know if that's part of it. I don't know if you can bribe a player into playing. I'm not sure if there is a rule for that.
Yeah, that would probably become pretty problematic.
I'm pretty sure the NCAA would step in and say,
yeah,
okay, we're not going to encourage this. This is a bit too far, but who knows?
But if it gets them to play, get the NCAA more money because more people are going to watch.
We'll have to wait and see.
So,
all right, we got to hit the break. Coming up next, we will preview tonight's Thursday night football game. Coming up next, It's actually, I think, my favorite Thursday night football game thus far. We'll talk about it next. But first, Adam, where do you get your hair done?
All right, guys, hair done, nails done.
Ooh, everything did.
I don't know why that came to my head. Listen, guys, Lady Jane's, it's where it's at. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Get a fresh haircut. Get your beard taken care of. They are phenomenal at the job they do. And finish it with a hot lather towel and shave. It's an unbelievable experience. I couldn't recommend it enough. Walk in anytime, everybody, to Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Morning Woodward Show. I am so excited for tonight's game. As a Lions fan, this is, like, outside of Thanksgiving, the best Thursday game of the freaking year. The Vikings are taking on the Steelers. Who's going to win? The team that tied against the Lions or the team that lost?
Who's putting a bet that they tie together tonight?
I would poop my pants if that happened. That would be the best thing of my entire life. Please, Vikings and Steelers tie. Can I put money on that on my bookie?
I'm
Can
sure,
you, like, put tie?
I'm sure you can. It's going to be like $8 bajillion, but...
I am throwing money on a tie. Listen, if the Vikings lose tonight, I mean...
Not if, when.
Oh, you're taking the Steelers tonight?
Narrative matters in the NFL.
Okay, tell me about it.
And I don't think people pay enough attention to narrative. And when it works in your favor and when it doesn't. And the Minnesota Vikings were 5-6 heading into Detroit. And you know what they did? They blew it. They cost themselves a true opportunity to make a push for a wild card spot. Narrative matters. The Vikings needed to have that game against Detroit. They didn't. On a short week, recovering from that emotional of a loss, Najee Harris and the Pittsburgh Steelers will run all over the Minnesota Vikings tonight. Take that to the bank. But if they tie, I'd be very happy for you because you'd win a lot of money, Kennedy.
And it would just, like, actually be awesome.
It would be hilarious. It would be
the
embarrassing,
more teams
too.
in the NFL with a tie,
Has a team ever finished with 2 ties in a single regular season?
Let's look it up.
Can we fact check that?
I will.
I don't think so, but that's going to be funny as hell. It really is. But look, narrative matters. Steelers are 6-5-1. They're still in the playoff hunt. They're on the road in Minnesota. Najee has good conditions. It's in a dome stadium. Why are you making that face?
Okay, first of all, the most ties happened in 1920. There were 17 ties. But the Chicago Bears have the most ties by a team in the season with 6 in 1932.
I don't count anything pre-World War II.
That's 6 points.
The world was never the same before Hitler. The world needed...
I hate
Hitler
you.
and Stalin needed to come in and do what they did, and then, you know what? Change the world for the better. Now we have the Super Bowl.
So you want me to skip to, like, the 70s?
We had Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5.
The Beatles.
The Beatles. You had Madonna. Barry Sanders.
Lomas Brown.
Lomas Brown. Could thank Hitler and Hitler and Stalin for that.
All right.
I don't count
the
anything.
The Chargers had 3 ties in 1970.
Okay. 1970, I'll take that seriously.
Okay, there you go.
I like that. 3 ties, that is awful. Do you guys think they should change the overtime rule?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Should it be A, like college, or B, should it continue to run on until somebody wins?
No. Ugh. That Steelers game would have, like, it already lasted too long. It would have just kept going. Could you imagine? We would have been sitting in front of the TV for, like, 6 hours.
That would have been fun.
I mean...
Why'd they change it? Does anyone know why they changed it to 10 minutes? Why did they change it to 10 minutes?
Ties are so funny. Like, they're just so funny.
I want to answer somebody's question in the chat.
Go for
AC, who I like a lot, actually. Why are the Steelers getting national games all the time? Sick and tired of the Steelers. Honestly,
That's very fair.
it's a very fair point, but there is a very fair answer. The Steelers have never had a losing season under Mike Tomlin. They are
true.
always relevant. They are always good. They are always average. It doesn't matter. They are good enough to garner national games. That's why. The Cowboys, why do they get national games? Because of ratings.
America team.
If I sat
America.
up here, I'm telling you right now, I could grow the show 100x in 3 months if all I did was talk about the Cowboys. I'm not joking. I'm not like making a joke. The Cowboys draw the best ratings. That's why when you watch these national shows, the Cowboys are always on it because it draws ratings. Their fan base consume media at an extremely high level.
How about them Cowboys?
They suck, Fish. That's all they are. Anyways, Pittsburgh, Minnesota tonight. I'm game for this. I think the Steelers pull it out. I think narrative-wise, you have to look at the Steelers. They got to win it. They got to have it tonight.
What?
Short week. You got to move to 7-5-1. Gives you 10 days to prepare for the next game, which isn't going to be easy. Divisional game. You got to be ready. You got to have this game. You don't want to be 6-1 entering a very difficult part of your schedule, Kennedy.
Yeah, but do the Vikings want to go back-to-back losing to the Lions and then the Steelers?
Losing to the Lions, that you can say in an embarrassing way. Losing to the Steelers, no shame. And look, I really like Minnesota. I really do.
I don't think they're
But
that
the
bad.
fact that
I
don't think they're bad either. But the fact that they lost to the Lions, and I understand they had a significant amount of injuries. But the fact that they lost to the Lions, I believe, is going to be where they get off the train tracks this season. I think it derailed their season. To be 5-7 with 5 games left, you are not winning all 5. You will not finish 10-7, Minnesota fans. And that is the only reason Zimmer still has a job, is that there's hope that maybe they finish 9-8.
What does that do for you, though?
Maybe they get into the wild card with 9-8. They may very well could make the wild card at 8-9, given how the NFC is structured right now. 8-9 could be a playoff position this year. Having said that, you're going to have to wait and see how it plays out. But I think tonight is a must-have for Pittsburgh more so than Minnesota. I just don't think Minnesota has it in them. Adam Thielen's out. Dalvin Cook is out. So many significant injuries. I think the Steelers get it on track and take advantage of them tonight.
What's your score prediction for tonight, Adam?
I'm going to go 24-20. Pittsburgh win on the road.
I'm probably right there with you. I don't know. I feel like
You
the
should
Vikings...
say 24-24 and make us all happy.
Yeah, okay, yeah. My actual prediction is a tie at 24-24. That's my dream score. But I think Adam probably nailed it right there. It's going to be...
All right, well,
meh. It's going to be meh.
We need to take a quick break. And when we come back, we got to talk about Cade Cunningham's ceiling. And then we got to get into talking with our beautiful chat and answering any questions they may have for us.
All right. That means I get to tell you guys about Gypsy Vodka. You guys know I love to drink. It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy is the best tasting, smoothest vodka on the market. Gypsy is gluten-free and corn distilled 6 times using artesian spring water.
Ooh-wee.
Support local guys here from Michigan. Try a bottle today. Ask for it by the name Gypsy, and as always, drink responsibly.
It's that time of the year again. Time for our second annual Stuff a Studio with Woodward Sports. Last year, Metro Detroit came together to help make the largest single toy donation in Mott Children's Hospital history. This year, we make it even bigger. Stuff a Studio is happening December 13th through the 17th at the Woodward Sports Studios in Birmingham. The children in Mott Children's Hospital fight so hard all year. Now it's up to all of us to help bring a smile to their faces. So while you're out holiday shopping, make sure you pick up an extra toy or two and help us spread some love to Metro Detroit this season. We look forward to seeing you December 13th through the 17th as we stuff our studio with Woodward Sports and Myre.
Woodward Sports Network, let's go! Ho, 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 ho!
And a miraculous catch.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Morning Woodward Show. We got to get into some Cade Cunningham talk. You guys know we love him around here. Last night, had a strong first half, was a little quiet in the second half, then came back, turned it up in overtime. Like I said, hit, I think, 8 of the 10 points we scored in overtime were Cade Cunningham. So, not bad for our rookie, but Adam, give me your thoughts on Cade. What is his ceiling? And just fill me in on the kid.
Look, I think he's already emerging into an all-star talent. He has the ceiling of a superstar. He can become a superstar. And when you're in the company of Jason Kidd, Steph Curry, at that young of an age, on being able to put up those kind of numbers that he's been putting up. Look, he has star written all over him. Troy Weaver nailed it. And you just look at his acumen, the way he carries himself, his character. He is, you know, I haven't met him, but I bet if I did, he's probably an amazing, humble dude. And when you can build your team around a guy like that, you're going to be in a good place. And compassion, empathy, that's winning in the NBA right now. Steph Curry, selfless. Giannis, compassionate, empathetic. That's what's winning in the NBA. And I think the Detroit Pistons have that in Cade Cunningham. I think you have a selfless superstar that is going to be willing to do whatever it takes in a few years from now to be not only a champion, but one of the best players to have played not only for the Pistons, but maybe in the NBA. I think that's his ceiling. He's got superstar ceiling, and I'm all for it. I really am. His overtime performance last night, I mean, you were kind of just watching in awe. He was getting to the basket, tough finishes, smooth. He was playing iso ball, and he was really effective. And he got the matchups he wanted. He looked like a veteran last night. And that, to me, looked like the future of the NBA and the future of the Detroit Pistons. And you want to know why people are so supportive of the Pistons even being 4-20? That's why. Because they know where this project will lead to eventually. Giannis was not a world beater year 1 and 2. Cade has so much time to develop his game. He's got so much time to turn into a star player. And eventually, in my opinion, can become a superstar player. Cade's got it. He really does. He really does. And I think all of Detroit sees it. Here's some... Look at this. I mean, it's so smooth. To do that with a minute 30 left. Now he drives by Garland. Nice floater. Finishes it in. Ties the game again. Goes in. What does he do? Drives the game again. Ties it. 116-116. Unstoppable. Everybody in the building knew Cade was going to drive to the basket, and he did, and you couldn't stop him. Oh, that's refreshing to see. That's good basketball. That's optimism. That's what the future looks like. And if you're a Detroit Pistons fan, you should be excited. And I'm all for it. Kennedy, we got to hit the break. When we come back, sorry about the short segment. When we get back,
Mailbag.
I got a lot of questions we need to answer.
You have questions?
Well, I mean, I've already read 3 of them, and one of them I really liked from Jack, so...
All right.
I'm game for it.
All right. We will remember those questions. Make sure you are putting more in the chat. We will get to all of those next. But first, I got to tell you what to do this weekend, and you should go to the Detroit Lions pregame on Woodward Sports. Woodward Sports will be live for the Lions pregame against the Broncos with Jose Cuervo at O'Toole's in Royal Oak from 2 to 4 p.m. with Braylon Edwards, Neil Rule, Adam, Jade from Riff, and more on Woodward Sports and 101.1 The Riff.
I am going to be there. That'll be the greatest 2 hours of sports insight you guys will ever hear in your life. Enjoy.
No, they get it for 2 hours every day.
I know.
You get an extra day of Adam,
Well, you get a whole day of Adam on the Lions. This isn't a 2-hour show of me just on the Lions.
R.I.P.
That's the pregame show for the Detroit Lions. I am so excited.
Now, are you prepared? Because that's live, so you can't swear.
I can do whatever I want.
No, the Riff will murder you.
They can murder me.
All right.
Let 'em
anyway,
try.
I got to
Let
tell
'em
you guys
try.
about the postgame. Shut up. stick and dancing at the Brass Rail with their friends at Jim Beam. Once again, yum. They are there for every single Lions game. At the 2-minute warning, their watch party begins. There's DJs, drinks, and a Woodward Sports VIP section. All right, that is all from me when it comes to Lions pre- and post games. We will see you after the break. Make sure you are commenting some questions.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Woodward Show. We are excited to get into your questions. I know Adam has already gotten some picked out. So, Adam, what are they?
All right, Jack Johnson asked, I want to know, Adam, what would you do with the number 1 overall pick? Who would I pick, actually? So, barring no trade options, I can't secure multiple draft capital for that number 1 overall pick. Between Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau, I'm going to take Aiden Hutchinson. Yes, Thibodeau has, let's say, maybe a higher ceiling, but he doesn't have the motor that Aiden Hutchinson has. And I think that's super valuable. And when you're looking to build around somebody with the number 1 overall pick, you want a guy that's going to be at the frontier point of your team, the guy that's leading the Lions. You don't want the guy sitting behind there, the general with his binoculars telling all the soldiers what to do. No, you want the guy that's telling you what to do and leading by example and going and doing it. And I think Aiden Hutchinson really fits that mold. Now, I really could change my opinion on who I would take with the number 1 overall pick from now till when the draft is. But right now, I'm going to take Aiden Hutchinson number 1 overall. I'm not going to make the mistake of trying to overthink this. I'm going to take Aiden Hutchinson. What are you laughing at?
Mike G just always cracks me up in the chat. He made his freaking icon of Raggedy Ann doll. You guys got to let it go.
I DM'd her, by the way.
No, you didn't.
I did. She hasn't answered me.
I'm mortified. Did you really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's doing a deep background check.
She probably doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't know who you are.
She probably thinks I work for like some organization we don't have to talk about. Long story.
Well, she probably just thinks you're a creepy dude.
Do I come off as creepy fish?
No, but I'm not other people. Other people could think that, depending on what you said to her.
All right.
Yeah, what did you say?
You probably said
You're lying. You did not DM her.
I'm going to give you guys a screenshot for tomorrow's show.
Oh, boy.
I said, hey, my name's Adam. I'm from the Morning Woodward Show. I'm not sure if you remember Kennedy Broadwell, but she used to go to school with you. I would love to have you on the show to surprise her. And that was it.
Well, there goes your surprise.
I didn't mention that I knew anything about Oprah or any of that stuff.
Okay.
So.
But she has to have an idea, right? Because why would you be DMing her about
I'm
Kennedy
setting her up,
Broadwell?
that's why. Her Raggedy Ann is getting set up.
Yeah.
And Kennedy's not going to know the date that she's showing up here.
Better be
It's
soon.
gonna be awesome.
I'm sweating. It's not happening. But anyway. Oh, Adam wants to know, Adam, what's your best sports betting secret?
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
5.5
That is
over
a great
under.
question.
5.5.
I know.
Okay, my
Take the over on all
my
the
greatest-
5.5.
No, that's just a strategy. That's just a ploy. My greatest sports betting secret is I use narrative when I bet. I talk about it on the show a lot, but I truly take narrative, not only numbers, narrative into account when I'm betting. And there are some weeks, yes, it doesn't make sense to bet on the Jets, but damn it, you do it. Because the money line and the narrative. And it's paid off this year. I think that's the biggest one. I truly use narrative a lot. And last night, I mean, I'm a 3-point away from Kuzma from potentially hitting on the Pistons money line. Why? Narrative. Back-to-back home games, they just blew it. I knew they were going to battle the Wizards. I knew they weren't 5.5-point dogs. I knew they would cover. I use narrative. That's my secret. Jack with the hilarious comment. Never bet on the Lions. That's also a great secret.
No, that's...
I avoid it as well.
I've bet on the Lions twice this year. Once, put money on them to win against the Eagles. Because everyone told me, it's a lock, Kennedy, it's a lock. And I said, I don't put money on the Lions. Then, put money on the Vikings. What the hell? So, I'm done. I'm actually done this time. When I say I'm not betting on them anymore, I'm not.
Brandon's asking, how mad would I be if they drafted Pickett? He says, I know it's unrealistic, but how would you feel, Adam? Well, here's what happens. And you need to accept this as much as I do. And I support any GM in the NFL that does this. If Brad Holmes and his staff believe that Kenny Pickett is the guy, they should do everything in their power to draft him. Whether it's at number 1 overall, or they trade up to number 12 and get him, or who knows where they have to get him. If they believe he's their guy, they should do everything in their power to do so to get him. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. And if they do it, would I hate it? I have from now to the draft to really, really dive into Kenny Pickett. So I'm not ready to just throw him away. I think he is going to be pushed by the media to be a top 5 pick. They're going to push for it. Having said that, if the Lions aren't in the quarterback market and Pickett's projected to go number 1 overall, that trade comes into play. And I'm curious to see how it plays out. What else we got, Kennedy?
This question's for Alex, actually. Alex, do you bet on sports? If so, what's your record? Please, Westy, tell us all.
I do occasionally. And
complains about it.
Yes, Adam has not been doing so well for me here recently.
Alex, be honest. Adam sucks when he takes your guys' phone. It pisses me off when I see him just go, whoop, take your phone, and then just boop, boop, boop.
As
just
if like I take your
to...
phones and I don't give you bets that are literally already placed on my phone. I'm just giving you my exact
No, you don't, because then you do your bets and you win, and then you give these guys bets and
somehow
you lose
always
every
end
single
up winning
time.
a couple $100.
Because I do live betting as well.
So send a screenshot, send it to them,
I'm
and
not
boom.
going to send them live screenshotting bets and have them risk more money than they've already put, Fish. Stop it.
Well, they don't have to risk the money you risk. They could risk $5.
Then there's no point in doing what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. I like this question from Doug. Doug says, do you think the Player of the Week award has always been awarded out of pity, or is Goff the first time? Yes, I actually saw this tweet earlier. Goff is the first Lions player to earn the award since Pro Football Hall of Famer Kelvin Johnson in Week 6, 2015, and first quarterback since Matthew Stafford Week 11, 2009.
Wow.
Goff.
And Goff's numbers weren't even
that's why I'm so
through the
confused
roof.
about. I'm happy, obviously. I'm glad
I told you narrative matters, though.
But
well, narrative matters. Game-winning drive. Last second touchdown, no time on the clock left when he threw the ball. That's why. Narrative matters. I'm okay with it. I'm not going to kill him for it.
No, me either, but it's just like, oh my gosh, since Kelvin Johnson was their last one to get the award.
Well, since Calvin.
They are not on the same caliber
They've had
here.
Marvin Jones light it up a few times. Golden Tate, never a running back go off. So yeah, I'm not surprised it's been 7 years.
Ugh, pain. That's all we know.
I'm surprised it was Goff, though.
I'm surprised it was Goff,
The numbers
too.
aren't gaudy numbers. Maybe it was a slow week in the NFL. I have to go back and look in the NFC.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray accounted for 4 total touchdowns, but he only had 100 yards. I don't know. I don't hate it. I don't equate 295 yards and 3 touchdowns to Player of the Week at the quarterback position in today's NFL. But hey, they gave it to him. That's fine. I'm not opposed to it.
Brandon says, do you think Watson gets traded during the draft?
Ooh, so he has to get traded, man. And I just think
He's just got to go.
Nobody's going to give up the farm for him, though. And I think he's a top 12 quarterback.
He's been sitting there for a whole year now.
He can sit there for 2 years. He's one of the best quarterbacks on the planet. He just is. So until they figure out this legal situation, he's one of the best quarterbacks. If you can get your hands on him, you get him. That's simple.
Yeah. It's taking a long time. I still can't believe this isn't all cleared up yet.
Yeah. I like Juice's question. Can you ask it for me?
No.
Why?
I'm not doing that. Oh, and it's 10. We got to go. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us right here on the Morning Woodward Show. We got Big D Energy coming up next. Make sure you stick around for that. All right, we will see you right back here tomorrow.